Now, you see me smiling, but this is a story we want to talk. So, a while back, Abraham Kirwa, the Mosop MP, came up with a bill to tax cryptocurrency. And of course, there was a lot of vitriol around it, and for good reason. But then it was now incorporated into the Finance Act of 2023. And there was a time I actually handled that. But let us talk about the problems that are there with the way the government is approaching cryptocurrency taxation. Here are my thoughts. First of all, I am of the opinion that we should have regulation around cryptocurrency. Now, I know there are people who will be happy about that and there are people who will be extremely pissed about that, but that's my opinion. And here is why. The aim of cryptocurrency is to be able to actually unbank people who have not had access to financial services and hopefully give them a chance to make some money. Now, with a cryptocurrency, especially a centralized exchange, it provides an easy way of them being able to adopt. But of course, it will start facing the same challenges that actual banks face, because you will need to do KYC, and with regulation, it will almost just become like opening a bank account. So the people that it is supposed to help will also miss out. But for a centralized organization, an exchange, a company that wants to get into crypto space, just having surety on what the law says about what you're doing gives them and their investors peace of mind that I'm operating in a place, this is what I'll be taxed and things like that. But that's not what this law essentially targets. This law, from its proponent Abraham, he says the reason why we need a cryptocurrency law is for consumer protection and to stop the financing of terrorism and criminal activities. Abraham and all the people that are in your committee, did you know that blockchain exists and what that means? That means that if someone wants to do a criminal activity, the last place they will want to do it on is on the blockchain. Why? Because every single person has access to that particular blockchain for 99% of those blockchains. That means that from the moment a wallet is opened that connects to that particular blockchain, and every single transaction done by that wallet, amounts, places it goes to, exchanges it does, swapping, all that is all visible. The only thing you probably cannot see is the name behind. That's it. That's the only thing you cannot see. But if 200 million is taken from a particular wallet and moved to another, you can actually see it. So any thief, what they assault, that's the worst thing they could ever touch. They would not touch the blockchain. They will run away from it because the records are all there to see. It's like standing in the public square and pickpocketing the person who's actually on stage and thinking that you can get away with it. That's just information for you. That means that whenever I see such statements, that just tells me the person making that statement has no idea what crypto is. They have no idea what it is. That's the reason they are making that statement, because they had that statement from someone else, and so they're regurgitating it just to push their agenda. In fact, it has been proven that less than 2% of transactions that have been done on the blockchain have anything to do with illicit trade. Do you know where illicit trade happens? Can you take a guess? In banks and in cash, because I can hide cash. It doesn't have to go through the eye of the bank. I can be able to just do a transaction in my house. That's where the actual criminal activity. So put your resources there if you really are concerned about consumer protection. But the next thing that I know they will say is this: so many people have fallen victim to scams. And for that, I say, of course, because there's no single industry where scams do not exist. Just because they exist in cryptocurrency does not mean we need to throw away the baby with the bathwater. There are scams in land. We haven't stopped buying land. There are even scams to do with bank accounts. We haven't stopped using banks. So why would you say that is the reason why we want to do this ABCD? Please, just come, talk to people who know exactly what's happening. Because the one main reason why people get scammed in the crypto space, number one, is lack of education. Someone comes, very good words, and tell you Bitcoin is extremely complicated, you cannot understand it. The whole reason why they are doing it is to tell you, let me trade for you. When in actual sense, the whole point of Bitcoin is for every single person to be their own bank, to be able to do peer-to-peer transactions without needing intermediaries like banks and Circles and Visa and MasterCard and all these other places. But that's not what they want you to hear. They want you to hear that this is some dark and nefarious place where there are so many things that are happening that are outside your intellectual understanding, that only they can understand and protect you. But come on, let's now go into the actual law itself. One of the proposals which I know the Blockchain Association of Kenya has actually taken to court has to do with how it is being taxed. Now, the last proposal that I saw was 3% on every single transaction. Now, when you do that, the thing that you're actually doing is killing the whole industry. There are young people who are trying to make money by buying and selling cryptocurrency. There are so many marketplaces that exist for that. And that's how they're able to get money to survive, because honestly, the 500,000 jobs that were promised by the previous government and there are million promised by this one are nowhere to be seen. So people have to look for ways of surviving. And so what you do if you tell them 3% of every single transaction, essentially is telling them, close up your shop. That's essentially what you do, because this is what you need to know. These people in those transactions, they make less than 1%. They don't have good spreads the same way that people at forex bureaus would have. In fact, speaking of forex bureaus, why aren't people in P2P trading and cryptocurrency being charged the same as forex bureaus? And then what is even worse is that you want to charge 3% of every single transaction. Which kind of business is that? When I make a swap, you tax. When I make another swap, you tax. If I make some money, you tax. If I lose money, you still tax. What is that? What kind of thinking goes into making a law like that? If not for the express purpose of just closing the whole industry down. And then the stat that is thrown around of 4 million Kenyans being cryptocurrency users, are you aware? It is the same problem that is there even with Safaricom and Airtel numbers when you actually calculate, because you find one person has 3, 4, 5 phones. It's the same thing in the crypto space. You can open 5, 6 different wallets on different exchanges. What these aggregators do is that they go and check this exchange. How many people does it have in Kenya? This other exchange, how many people does it have in Kenya? And they aggregate that as total people who are using cryptocurrency. In fact, honestly, I think it's probably 20% of that using crypto. But then, that's not even the problem. The stats, that's not even a problem. The problem is this. How do you approach a technology which honestly its purpose is to be able to uplift the people who actually need it, who banks have neglected because they are too risky? Those are the people Bitcoin is supposed to help. Those are the people it actually targets, to be able to own and keep their value and be able to lift themselves up. Then you tell them, no, I need to tax you on that 2 shillings that you've just made. Come on, let's be realistic. Let's be fair. If we really, really, truly cared about people and their safety when it comes to cryptocurrency, why isn't the government sponsoring people who are doing education to be able to actually sit down and come up with Bitcoin education, come up with crypto education, teach people about the blockchain, teach people about how they can be able to make money or earn, or open up our cyber waves so that people can actually see this as a hub for innovation and cryptocurrency? Why not put a 0% personal tax if you're in the crypto space? That will bring even more investors here. That's exactly what we need. We are here struggling about how does this country make money. There's something called Bitcoin mining, which I probably should do a whole video about what the government should do in accordance to Bitcoin mining. And let's stop struggling. trying to fleece out every single shilling from the normal Kenyan. And the worst part is it's from the people who actually need the money that you want to take money from. Come on, give Kenyans a break. Because honestly, what's happening is it's an insult to the intelligence of Kenyans to tell them that you want to actually help and protect them, when in actual sense, the whole point is just to try and increase tax revenues. It's not about the protection. Protection comes from knowledge. What is the government doing to increase the knowledge of Kenyans about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency? Because in 2015, we could have actually done it when the CBK told banks not to engage in it. It could have still happened in 2018. It could have still happened even now. But all we do is, no, we want to tax it. No, don't engage in it. That's all we say to people. And then we keep it there. And then we have to wait another 3, 4, 5 years to get another pronouncement by the CBK governor at that particular time, whoever it will be, telling us how illegal it is to use cryptocurrency, when they know in actual sense that is exactly what will take this country from being a third world country dependent on IMF and World Bank to being independent and probably becoming the first world country in Africa. What's the harm in uplifting the people who are down to be able to earn an income that actually makes sense, that is actually giving them back dignity? But all we just focus our minds on is how do we extract value from this industry you have done nothing to develop. There's a part 2 coming, but that's something for you to think about.